Okay, well, we should be live. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone from the Faceland. How are you? It's Friday. As always, I'm here at 11 a.m. every Friday. And today we've got something very exciting for you. We are going to drill down. Sorry, that's my website going off. I apologize. Every time that goes off, I know someone's hitting my website. Anyway, today we're going to really drill down on working your ICA, and we're going to talk about some personality types. And the personality types are always a fun conversation with me. I really do love, enjoying a good conversation and discussing and analyzing personality types. It's just a curiosity of mine. I spent a lot of years reading books from an author called Florence Littauer, if you ever want to look her up. And her most popular book, I think, is Personality Plus. If you want to learn her, there's lots of different personality tests, the DISC test, this test. I like hers. I mean, of course, I read them, 20, 30 years ago. I don't even know if she's still alive today, to be honest with you. But keep it simple. I mean, I levitated to her because it was simple. She kept it very simple. There's 4 basic personality types. There's certain degrees and there's combinations of 2, you know what I mean? But it's pretty simple, really. You don't have to complicate it or overthink it, but you really should take the time to study the personality types, because that's going to help you in your sales and conversion. Okay. Now, as we work through some of this content, you'll see what I mean. If you had the ability to surmise and sum up someone's personality just by spending a few minutes with them, then you would be more attuned to what was important to them, wouldn't you? Then you would be able to craft your verbiage or the way you talk to them in a way that's going to resonate with them. Okay. Same thing will apply to your marketing. Now, today we're here to drill down on your avatar. And, I think realtors in particular have a little bit of a difficult time drilling down and staying focused to their avatar, because they probably feel like they need to be able to serve everyone. We certainly don't want to break any housing laws, right, by choosing not to serve someone, but it's your business, as long as you're not doing it in a discrimination manner. You can absolutely choose the people you want to work with in your business. Now, especially those that you want to target market. So if you've downloaded the Avatar Worksheet with me today, I'm going to walk through this a little bit. Now, some of this, you're going to think, what the hell? I don't need to know that. But you do, and I'll tell you why. Okay. All right. So if you've got your piece of paper and pen and you're joining me, let's start with the ideal customer avatar. And I'm going to kind of interchange with the personality test. Okay. So if you've had an opportunity to go to the files in the group, you can download the personality test there, or you can absolutely get the ICA avatar from one of the links in the group. Okay. All right. So first, let's talk about the avatar. You kind of need to decide or know, and this is a difficult one. The first one right off the bat, are they male or female? Well, we work with all kinds, don't we? Right. But typically you're going to want to work, you need to kind of watch and monitor your customers and decide who's kind of in the driver's seat. You know what I mean? Especially if you're working with a husband and wife couple or partners, you know what I mean? You kind of want to see who's in the driver's seat. Of course, hopefully they're going to make their decisions together, but one will have a stronger personality if you're paying attention. One will have a stronger personality. So, you need to be able to be attuned to that when you are addressing or making your listing presentations, don't you? Okay. And then let's just kind of break down a few of these. What do they look like? How old are they? We don't like to think in terms of like that as a realtor, do we? But, if reality is reality, that's what we need to know in our market, right? If you are in a predominantly 55 and over community, age is going to make a difference for you. If you are in a blue collar, like I'm in a blue collar suburb outside of Orlando and Daytona Beach. So a lot of my avatar is, a younger couple, younger families getting started, first time home buyer market. You know what I mean? So these things, how old are your customers, are very important because you need to know exactly who you are targeting. Okay. Are they married? Are they single? Do they have children? Not all markets and not all customers will meet all of these criteria. So you're going to want to nail this down and know exactly what's prominent in your market. What type of education do they have? What kind of job do they have? If you are close to, for example, in the state of Florida, if you're down near the Cocoa Beach area in Florida, they probably have a job at Cape Canaveral because that's the main employer for that area. Now, you need to know that because if I were marketing homes in the Cocoa Beach area, I would specifically mention if you're relocating, to go to work at Cape Canaveral, you could say something to that effect if you were well aware and attuned to what is in your market and what your avatar does for a living, what they do for fun, what type of books and media, right, do they listen to, right? Some of them are DIY homeowners, some of them are not, right? You need to know that. Let's keep going. Where do they spend a lot of time online? Besides Facebook, let's say, you know what I mean? If your avatar is on Instagram, if your avatar is on TikTok, you need to know that, don't you? Okay. So take the time to work through this worksheet and put it on paper. Because when you put it on paper, you're going to be able to look at it. You're going to be able to stare at it. You're going to be able to think about it, right? What inspires your avatar? I can tell you if in Daytona Beach, 30 miles east of me, completely different market. I can tell you what inspires the people who live closer to the ocean, right? That's going to be a beach scene, isn't it? It's going to be a sunset. It's going to be a sunrise. That would be one of the things that would inspire an avatar in that particular market. Now, in my market, not so much because we don't have a beach, right? So these are some things you want to think about, right? What is their pain point? Of course, before you start crafting your marketing messages, you're going to want to know what your avatar's pain points are. The structure of your ad should be a hook, a story, a lesson, a call to action, and a summary. And you can't hook unless you know what your avatar's pain points are. My avatar is a first-time home buyer. My avatar's pain point is, in their mind, they think they need to have 20% to buy a home. They think they need to have, X number of thousand of dollars to buy a home. But in the reality, I've got a solution for that, right? I've got a down payment program for first-time home buyers up to $15,000. So I can literally put a first-time home buyer in a home with less than $2,000, less than it takes to rent a home. Okay. So there's my hook, right? There's my hook. Okay. Now, if you got to know what your pain parts are in your market. Okay. Ryan Corbin, you hear me talk about him a lot. He's the agent that lives in Taiwan and sells property in Oklahoma, right? He knows the pain points for his avatar. To sell a large parcel of land he holds the financing. Okay. So he eliminates that obstacle for a lot of his customers because that's his avatar. He knows them inside and out. Hey, if you're joining me today, say hello. I appreciate you coming on. And make sure if you've taken this personality test and you know what your personality is, let me know. I'm just curious. We'll talk about personalities in a minute. But right now we're working through the worksheet, and I want you to really, really, really fill in the blanks. Okay. As corny as some of this sounds, when you're filling this in, fill it in. What you think your avatar does. What does a typical day in their life look like, right? First time home buyer, I deal with a lot of young families. What does that, look like for some of them? Some of them are stay-at-home moms with one working in the household. Some of them are two working. You know what I mean? You're a D personality. Great. You know your personality type then, huh? Well, if you look at my little personality test that I offer, if you are a melancholy and the perfectionist and the straight lines bother you, I'm going to apologize in advance. Okay. That perfect melancholy will just cringe when they look at lines that aren't straight. All right. So I'm going to just keep going through a few of these questions on this avatar worksheet because I think it's helpful if you understand what you're kind of looking for so that the questions don't seem kind of corny. You know what I mean? What do they do for fun? You know what I mean? What do they do for fun? If you're in the Midwest, let me tell you what, you've got a different idea of fun than someone who lives in Central Florida, right? So you need to know what your avatar does for fun because you need to build a dream around that. Okay. You need to build a dream around that. That's why people buy houses. You need to determine why your market buys homes. Okay. They're either going to buy homes because what? They have pets and that need room to roam. They have children. They are expanding. They are retiring and downscaling. You know what I mean? I'm going to show you a few of my ads that I have created personally for my market. And I'm going to show you what I mean with the, yes, I have a personality test. It's Florence Littauer's Personality Plus test. And it is in the files of the group. Okay. And you can print it off. Okay. And she has, she keeps it simple. I like it. Like I said, I read her books 20 years ago. She keeps it simple. I'm going to briefly discuss them. The 4 basic personality types that they're just the same, different labels, right? Every author has a different label for them, I think. But the powerful cleric, okay, that's probably what I'm going to assume a D personality, right? The powerful cleric, that personality type is, a born leader. They can command and bark orders and not feel guilty about it, right? They are big picture people. They don't see the details, right? And they need to feel like they are in control. So when you are dealing with this type of a personality and you're trying to sell or list their home for them, you're going to want to let them take the wheel as much as possible. Guide them and let them think it's their idea of what you want them to do, right? But they got to feel like they're in control and they're making the decision. Otherwise, they're gonna butt heads with you. Okay, that's their personality. Okay, the next personality is a perfect melancholy, and of course, we love perfect melancholies. You know what I mean? They are the quiet ones. They are often mistaken for being depressed, but they're not. You know what I mean? Stop trying to make the melancholy laugh, you know what I mean, out loud. They are very subtle. They'll chuckle under their breath, but they're with you, right? They are perfectionists. They are the mathematicians. They love the number game. They will chart you and chart you and chart you and chart you and chart you until you're blue in the face. So if you're selling or dealing with a melancholy, you got to be on your game. You're going to want to feed them with facts and figures and all of the information that they want to feel comfortable so that they can make a decision confidently based on the facts and the figures. Okay, that's a perfect melancholy. You'll know if you're dealing with one of them. Okay, just don't try to cheer them up. All right, the next I'm going to talk about is a popular sanguine. Everybody loves a popular sanguine, right? They are the butterfly in the room. They network. They are very talkative. They're very flamboyant. They're going to have bright color clothing on. You know what I mean? So when you are dealing with a sanguine, they don't do numbers, okay? They don't do organization. If you are selling to a sanguine woman, you're going to want to kind of talk about how she can entertain her friends and family in this home. You know what I mean? Even the same with gentlemen, how they can, be the most popular dad on the block. You know what I mean? They're popular. It's important for them to be popular, okay? But they are the most fun. Just have fun with them, right? They will keep the party going. And then there is the peaceful phlegmatic. That's me. I'm a peaceful phlegmatic. I don't like conflict. I'm a good administrator. I am a good negotiator. I'm going to be the first person in the room to find a place to sit down, right? I love a good conversation if someone else starts it. That's me. That's a phlegmatic. We are often mistaken for being lazy. We just like to think things through first. You know what I mean? So you'll know when you're dealing with a peaceful phlegmatic, you need to have patience. You need to make sure that they are comfortable and that they don't think that there's any conflicts, all right, that's going to be ahead of them in that journey, okay? So those are some very basic, in a nutshell, and there's no good personality, there's no wrong personality, you know what I mean? The point is you need to understand and learn your personality because we're all going to be a combination of these four, essentially. You can be a combination of two. You do have a mother and a father, so you might be a combination of two. But you got to be really careful if you think like you're dealing with somebody that really doesn't feel like they got the right face on. You know what I mean? Because people can be influenced by their surroundings, children especially. So, can you imagine if you were a melancholy child for some reason? It skipped generation. You got your grandfather's personality. What if you were a melancholy child raised by two sanguine parents? It would be exhausting. It would be exhausting for that child if they weren't attuned to their child's personality and they continually tried to make this child happy. You know what I mean? So those are some things that you need to take into consideration because you might deal with people who, maybe in their upbringing or their surroundings, they had to be somebody they really weren't in order to survive or to get through their childhood. You know what I mean? So they might pretend. Okay. So there's that. Now, I did tell you I was a phlegmatic and I'm very introvert. Introvert and shy are actually two different things, but it's taken me a lot of years to be able to come on video and teach. I've been doing this 3 years now. It didn't start out this smooth, let me tell you. The first time I think I got on video to try and teach, I wouldn't even put my face on camera. I just voiced it. You know what I mean? We created our first course in 2017, our digital course. I videotaped the whole thing, teaching first-time home buyers, how to qualify on paper. And I videotaped myself in front of my desk, and I realized that one of my nails was broken, and then I scrapped all of it. I just put the audio on and not the video because I had a broken nail. See, these are the things that just drive you crazy. Okay, so keep all that into consideration the next time somebody's driving you crazy. stop and take a look and think, what kind of personality are they? What kind of personality are they? Because they're just operating within their personality. Okay. And right now, I'm going to show you a couple of ads that I have created. Okay. So I'm going to share screen and I'm going to show you a few ads that I have created. And I'm going to show you how to craft a marketing message maybe to your avatar. Okay. Let me go ahead and share screen here and let's get started. I'll show you a couple of quick ads. I only got 5, I think. Here we go. All right. So one of the first ads that I created, this was created a couple years ago. Now, this started out as a post on my business page. I was once like you. And it's a really riveting story about how easy it is to be homeless and to become homeless, right? And it's a good post. It's a good heartfelt post for the December holiday, Thanksgiving holiday. But when I started to see it get a little bit of traction on my business page, I put a little bit of money behind an engagement post because it's part of my overall strategy to continually warm my audience and nurture my audience, not my page likes, but everyone who engages with my page, my posts, everything. You've got a separate audience for all of that. Okay. So we are not targeting page likes. Let me make that clear right now. You got to be very careful because if you click on that, you're going to be limiting your posts or limiting your boosted, don't boost. The only objective of the boost button is engagement. So when agents boost an ad, they think it's going to give them leads and it's not. Okay. That's number 1 for the boost button. But yes, a post engagement ad is something I use. I spend $1 a day, $30 a month, essentially nurturing my ecosystem. Okay. And I'll show you this. So this is one way with a simple post like this. Now, I've had posts on my page, for example, this one, right? A simple meme, apart from makeup, breakup, wake up, and 7-Up, and look up, which other up do you know, right? This post started getting so much activity on my business page. I put a couple of dollars behind it, engagement ad, and it blew up and went viral. Look at this. People reached. It's still active today. I couldn't shut this off if I wanted to. People reached 5,333,000 engagements. 1,234 engagements, right? Comments, 390,000 comments and 4,900 shares, right? It's crazy. It's crazy, right? But every one of them people have the ability to click on this ad and check out my website, right? It doesn't matter if it's an engagement post, I still have my website connected so that they can always come back and look at my website. Okay. Now here's another type of an ad. For example, once I warm up my audience and once they've touched one of my posts, my Facebook page, my website page, anything they've touched of me, they can be retargeted. Okay. So on a retarget ad, this ad is going to follow them around the internet for as long as I keep the ad running, right? This is one that was specifically targeted, for example, to renters. It starts out, no pets allowed. When you own your own home, you never have to hear that again, right? Sometimes it's easier to buy a home than it is to rent one. Ask us how. First-time home buyers qualify for the bond program, get $7,500 towards closing costs. See, look at these. You're looking for scrolling stop newsfeed photos, right? Colorful, bright, something that's going to stop the scroll. But this one is targeted specifically to renters. This next one here is, was it hot enough for you this summer? That's always a question every Floridian asks as soon as the weather subsides. How many times did you wish you had a pool in your backyard? With the equity in your first home, we can make your next home the pool home you deserve. Okay. And what do we have? Bright, shiny pool home pictures, right? You got to understand that it's the graphics and it's the verbiage that is going to give Facebook the oomph that it needs to put this ad in front of those people who are going to react to it. Because let's face it, we're pretty limited when it comes to targeting, right? As realtors, your graphics and your verbiage need to be on par with your message, okay? And here's just the last one here. This one's kind of, because of what's happening in our market today, a lot of FSBOs are trying to do things on their own accord. Everybody's looking for a discount. Everybody's looking to get something done cheap, right? So this one says, if you're selling your home in today's market, you've got options. You know what I mean? That's why it's important to have an expert, right? So this one is really just kind of promoting. If you're wishing you had expert advice to find the price of your home, present your offer to and achieve a successful negotiation, I can help. A licensed broker, Volusia County, 20 years, 15-year mortgage lender. Let's discuss your options, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now this one, I drove to book a call with me on my Calendly, okay? I don't think I'm going to get a whole lot of reaction to this. You know what I mean? But the first one, I'm going to test this. I'm going to actually create another one, and I'm going to put it to the website again, because I feel like I'll be able to retarget anybody that hits that. Not so much on my Calendly. Okay. Now, those are just a few that I thought I'd talk about today, right? Because those are just some kind of examples. And that's the kind of marketing that you really need to craft in order to speak to your avatar. Okay. That's how you're going to, really be able to stay consistent, because you notice that most of that marketing isn't tied to a particular property that is for sale. It isn't tied to an event, that has passed or expired. This is the type of marketing that you can keep running consistently. I mean, because if you don't have something running consistently, what are you doing? What are you doing? You got to have something going. And unless you want to be physically knocking on doors or physically cold calling or physically doing something else, you need to get a marketing machine up and running, especially if you're going to have a brokerage business. Okay. You cannot, as a brokerage business, you can't be all things to all people, right? So you need to have a marketing machine in place in order to stay profitable as a brokerage business. Because you have to stay consistent and you have a continuity that you need to maintain for your brand. Okay. It's not the same as an agent. It's really not. Okay. All right. So if you've got any questions, you can lay them on me. I'll swing back through after I get off here, and I'll answer anything. I did put the link in there if anybody is brave enough to jump on here with me for a few minutes, right? and if you've got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But I have been playing with Facebook ads for 10 solid years. 10 solid years. And I can tell you, there's very few gaps where I would have had nothing ever running. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not even when I go on vacation. When I go on vacation, that's when I kind of pump my marketing up a little bit, because when I come back, I want that momentum to be there. I want that momentum to be in place. So even when I go on vacation, I never, ever shut my marketing off. Okay. All right. So there's that. And I think that's it. I do have, some deep dive discussion about if you want to consider getting your brokerage set up for 2022 December 7th, 8th, and 9th, we're going to do a deep dive discussion. I don't want to call it a webinar. What do we call it a webinar for? You know what I mean? We all know what that is. Okay. I'm going to have a deep dive discussion. I'm going to show you what it took. We're going to talk about, what it actually takes to get something up and running. And we're going to overcome those hurdles for you in that transition. And if you already own a brokerage and you just need some help getting that on track to be profitable, so you're not working as hard as you are, absolutely, this is for you. Okay? So I shall see you all later. Have a great weekend. And thank you for joining me, even if you're catching this in replay. Bye-bye.